This presentation is meant for the students of semester 3 on General English. This is MD.JALEEL, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Tara Government College Autonomous, Sangareddy. We have been taking on the syllabus of General English for the students of semester 3. And part of that, in the last few presentations, we started our unit number 2. So to continuation to that unit number 2, today we will take our presentation. Basically, unit number 2 has been divided into 4 sections. First one is a poem, Punishment in Kindergarten, written by Kamaladas. Second section is a prose piece of writing titled Toasted English. It is written by R.K. Narayan. Third one is vocabulary, British and American English. Fourth one is grammar. So among these 4 sections, in our last few presentations, we are at prose piece of writing. So this presentation constitutes the 4th part of this prose piece. So in this presentation, first I try to remind you the important things that we have to remember that we have covered in our previous presentations. By connecting those previous presentations by today's presentation, we continue the presentation. The present piece of writing is titled as Toasted English, and this prose piece is written by one of the well-known, popular, familiar writers of India, R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan published nearly 60 books in his long career of 60 years, writing career of 60 years. Among them, there are novels, short stories, and essays. And coming to his novels, nearly R.K. Narayan published 15 novels, among them The Guide, The Man Eater of Malgudi, Swami and Friends, Mr. Sampath, The English Teacher, are some of the notable novels published by R.K. Narayan. He also published numerous short stories as well as essays. And interestingly, all of R.K. Narayan's stories happen in an imaginative town called Malgudi, which resembles the culture of a South Indian town. It is a kind of semi-urban town, and all is fictional incidents, fictional stories take place in that town called Malgudi. R.K. Narayan also published many essays, and our present piece of writing is taken from one of those essays. R.K. Narayan, in the year 1969, he visited America as a visiting professor at an American university. So he spent some time there, and there he noticed some interesting things about English language that is used by Americans. So in the present essay, R.K. Narayan shares his views, his ideas, his observations in this essay. And this essay was first published in one of his collection of essays, and the title of that collection is Reluctant Guru. It was published in 1974, and from that collection of essays, our present a part of lesson is taken. We can observe 3 important points in these essays. The first point is that RKNRN presents how Americans have adopted the English language to suit their needs. So the Americans adopted English language, but they adopted to that extent the language suits to their needs. So what he observed there is presented in the present piece of writing. And he also, RKNRN tries to understand how American English is different from its British counterpart. So British English is there, and the Britishers were Americans' masters for many years. Later, Americans fought with the Britishers against the colonial rule of the Britishers, and they got their independence. Of course, they threw out the Britishers out of their country, their rule, but they retained the language. When they retain the language, do they retain as it is as the language is used by the Britishers? Are there any changes? So is there any difference between American English and British English? Is also discussed in the present piece of writing. And by discussing all these things, in the end of the essay, RKNRN appeals all of us, all Indians, to form our own English. So by seeing the experience of American experience, by observing the American experience, RKNRN appeals, he suggests to form our own brand of English. So this is the basic introduction to the lesson. For in last our 3 presentations, by seeing all these things in detail, next we entered into the text of the lesson, almost all we have completed the first 2 paragraphs, and now we are in the mid of the paragraph number 3. So before entering into this mid of the paragraph, just I try to remind you the important points that RKNRN is sharing with us about his observations in America. He observed that Americans, when they visit, they go to a restaurant, they are ordered English muffins. Muffins are a kind of bread, and that bread, though they are manufactured, they are made in America, they retain the word English in their name. So he says that it is a kind of concession that the muffins are having the word English in them. So when they observe, they order, they want to refer the English muffins, they use the word toasted English. So those muffins, they want those kind of muffins that are toasted. And in the same way, Americans also toasted the language, English also. Toasting is nothing but getting the bread, making the bread into a process of heating, so changing its form a little bit. In the same way, the Americans, they toasted English language also. Of course, they threw the Britishers out of their country, but they retained the language with their convenience. But while adopting their masters, their ex-masters' language, the Americans have changed the language according to their needs. So the first change that they made of the language is they tried to free the English language from the stifling tyranny of its formalism. British's language is more formal, more involved in using passive voice, but whereas Americans use more active voice, more simple language, rather than their masters' language, formal language. And comparing to British English to American English, R.K. Narayan says that if at one place, if a person is prohibited from walking, then the Britishers place the signboard trespassing is prohibited. But whereas simply the Americans put the signboard newly planted, don't walk. So trespassing prohibited to uh, the newly planted, don't walk. So Britishers tend to use the word trespassing prohibited, whereas Americans use the word newly planted, don't walk. At the same time, even he takes the example of Indian example also. When we prohibit people from moving from one place, we put an inscription of nearly 20 lines by mentioning all kinds of acts. So it makes people very inconvenienced. So in this way, we can follow uh, the path of Americans who try to make their language very easy to understand. And at many places, the Americans write the signboards like do not enter. And at the traffic signals also, they use very simple words at the crossroads for pedestrians, simple words such as go or wait. So in this way, the Americans have invented a very flexible, very easy kind of English for their usage. And also they adopted some certain keywords. They developed certain keywords that can they can be used at any kind of at anywhere, any place. For example, R.K. Narayan observes the word check. So he calls the word I will check. It can be called as the national expression of America, because this word suits any kind of place, to any kind of situation or occasion. So check is the most commonly used word by the Americans. So this word check suits to any kind of situation. Actually, if we see the dictionary meaning of the word check, it means I will find out, I will investigate, I will examine, I scrutinize, verify, or probe. But here, the Americans use the word check in the sense, if they say your check means that is your ticket, or if they want to say your check means that is the token. So check room is a place where you can leave your possessions for a while. So in this way, R.K. Narayan presents us different words that suit to any particular kind of situation. So continuation to the previous presentation, we try to understand the text that is presented by R.K. Narayan. Check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may leave in custody. Check in and check out. At first, I heard it as check out and felt rather disturbed. Refer to one's arrival in a hotel and departure therefrom. So in America, R.K. Narayan observed check girl, check girls. These kind of girls are called as check girls. Who are they? These girls are those girls. They take care of a person's coat or umbrella or anything else you may leave in custody. So there are some places like shops. In those places, in those shops, some girls, they use it to sit. And these girls are called as check girls. Their duty is that if we want to put our coat or umbrella or anything, and after some time, if we want to come and we want to collect it, we can place that thing with these girls, for some, they will charge for something for that. So that kind of girls are called check girls in American uh, practice. So those kind of girls are called as check girls. And also the word check is also very commonly used uh, in the context of check in and check out. Check in and check out. Actually, these two words, they refer to one's arrival, to a person's arrival. If a person enters in a hotel, he books a room in a hotel, he books a lodge in a hotel. So his arrival, the arrival of that person is referred as check-in, and departure therefrom. And if the person leaves after finishing his work, is halt at that lodge, at that hotel, if he wants to leave that place, it is called as checkout. So check-in and check-out are these two words that refer to a person's stay in a hotel. First, by mistakenly in the brackets, he mentioned, R.K. Narayan mentioned, in the beginning, when R.K. Narayan heard the word checkout, first he heard it and he took it, the word as took out. And he felt a rather disturbed because the meaning of the word took out means forcing a person to leave a place. So actually checkout is used in a very polite, generous way by the American hotels. But R.K. Narayan, when he heard this word in the initial stay of in that country, he took it as checkout, and he was disturbed because he thought that the hotel people are forcing him to leave that place. So in this way, the word check is a very common word used by Americans at anywhere, at any time, any place. So this word can be appropriate at any kind of situation. So that R.K. Narayan labels, he calls the word check as American national expression. And there are scores of other incidental uses of the word. If you are ever hard up for a noun or a verb, you may safely utter the word check and feel confident that it will fit in. Fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely without much premeditation. So in this way, R.K. Narayan can give us nearly score of other incidents, a score of examples that where the word check is commonly used. Score means equivalent to 20. So I can give you nearly 20 examples, 20 more examples. But earlier already R.K. Narayan gave us some examples. The word check where it is used very frequently. And there are even 20 examples may be given which where the word check involves in other incidents for the word. If you are ever hard up for a noun or a verb, and in America, if you feel any difficulty in using a certain word, certain noun or a verb, or you are missing, you are not able to remember that word, you want to say that word and you are missing it, you may very safely utter. And if you are not able to recall that appropriate word, you very safely, very easily, you can utter, you can say the word check. You can use the word check in that place, and you can feel very confident that it will fit him. So this word suits at every occasion, every situation in American context. So if you forget something, some particular word, particular noun or verb, immediately instead of recalling it, you can use the word check very freely, and so you can feel very much confident. So in this way, the word check has a very prominent role in American spoken language, and people very freely use this word. Fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely, without much premeditation. So in that country, another word, apart from check, another word is also there, and that word is used very freely in that country, very freely, very often. People use this word very commonly. That word is fabulous. And they use this word fabulous without much premeditation, without much more premeditation. Meditation means thinking. By having a thought, without having a thought, they use this word fabulous very commonly. Actually, the meaning of the word fabulous, the dictionary meaning of the word fabulous is pleasant. That is pleasant, that is good, nice to see, nice to look. But the Americans use this word fabulous very freely and very commonly in their language. Of course, everyone knows what fabulous means, but the American usage has enlarged its sense. I found a lady in Wisconsin declare, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous," meaning that they were eccentric. So of course, every one of us, we all know what fabulous means. What is the meaning of the word fabulous? Fabulous is that is pleasant, that gives us joy, it is beautiful. So in that sense, that is great. In that sense, we use the word fabulous. But the American usage, but the American people, in their usage of the word fabulous, they have enlarged its sense. So they have enlarged. So they use this word much more in a wider, in a broader sense, in a broader meaning. Just we use the word fabulous in a great, to refer something great, something pleasant. But they expanded its usage, and they added furthermore for its sense. And when R.K. Narayan was traveling in America, he was staying in America, he found a lady in Wisconsin, in the city, in the place of Wisconsin. He found a lady, and that lady, that lady declared, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous." And she was carrying some cats, pets with her, and referring her cats, her pets, she said that, she declared that, "Oh, my cats are fabulous." Actually, her meaning that they were eccentric means, actually she does not want to tell about their beauty, but she wanted to say that her cats are eccentric. Eccentric means a kind of strange, naughty ones. So to tell this sense, that lady says that my cats are fabulous. So in this way, the Americans expand the meaning of these two words. The first one is check, and the second one is fabulous. And some people say, "Oh, so and so, he is fabulous," may mean anything from a sincere compliment to an insinuation that so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. If somebody is referring a person, "Oh, so and so, that person is fabulous," if they are saying that that person is that he or she, that person is fabulous, their meaning, their intention is to say anything from a sincere compliment. Of course, at outer level, it seems like a compliment, a sincere compliment, to an insinuation that so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. Insinuation means they are giving a hint about that person. When they are saying that he is fabulous means they are hinting that person, that they are giving a hinting about that person, that person displays, shows a mild form, a slighter form of charming lunacy. Lunacy means mental ill, a kind of mental sickness. So to call a person having some mental issues, mental problems, so they indicate through the expression, oh, that person is fabulous. So in that way, they extended the meaning of the word fabulous to indicate a person's lunacy. And Uh, OK is another well-known example. It is the easiest sound that ever emanated from the human vocal cords. Everyone knows how comprehensive its sense can be. OK is a self-sufficient word which needs no suffix to indicate any special respect for the listener. It can stand by itself without a sir to conclude the sentence. And one more word. So apart from check and fabulous, another well-known example in American context is okay. So just O letter O and K is one more example. How often the Americans use this word. Actually, this word, it is the easiest sound. Okay, by saying okay is the very easiest sound that ever emanated from the human vocal cords. So this word that ever emanated means a kind of sense, a kind of feeling that emerges, the sound emerges from the human vocal cords. So to make sounds, to speak language, we human beings, we use our vocal cords. So for these vocal cords, this word is the very easiest sound, easiest word, because it has the very easiest sound to come out. So OK is a word that comes very easily, emanates very easily from our vocal cords. And everyone knows, so every one of us, we know how comprehensive its sense can be. And this word, it is of course very easiest word to pronounce, to produce from our vocal cords, but this word has very comprehensive sense. Uh, so it can be used very simply, very easily, very accordingly, according to the any kind of situation. For example, okay, the actual word okay is a self-sufficient word. If we take the word okay, 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 it is a self-sufficient word. This word can stand on its own. It is self-sufficient. Sufficient means enough. Self-sufficient means enough on its own. So this word can exist on its own. It does not require, it does not need the help of any other words. So this word, okay, is a very self-sufficient word which needs no suffix. So to use this word before prefix or after so adding something before a word is prefix or adding something after a word is suffix. For example, we can, if we take the word happy, if we add un in before the word, it becomes unhappy. So un is the prefix. And in the same way, if we add dumb at the end of a word free, it becomes a freedom. So freedom is the suffix. So in this way, we add something before the word, or sometimes we add something at the end of the word. But okay is such a word, it does not require either any prefix or suffix. It can stand on its own. It's a self-sufficient word. To indicate this word indicates, it does not, no suffix to indicate, it does not indicate any special respect for the listener. So when we are using this word okay, okay, this word, it does not show any kind of special respect for the listener. So when we are speaking with someone, when he is saying something to us, then we say the word, we can use the word okay, okay, and but this word okay, it never sounds indicates any kind of special respect to the listener, that person. So in this way, we can very easily use the word okay at any context. It can stand by itself without a sir to conclude the sentence. And okay is such a sentence. It stands on its own, and this word can stand by itself. So it can exist on its own without a sir. So without having a sir to conclude the sentence. If a person suggests us something, if we are speaking with a person, a particular person, and if he is suggesting us something, and if we accept that suggestion, just we can say okay. So that word tells that I totally agree, I totally accept what you said. So that word, it does not require there an addition to add sir. Okay, sir, there is no need to add sir to conclude that sentence. So by just uttering this easiest pronounced word in our spoken language, we can very easily make our conversation to complete the sentences. So this word okay is also one more familiar word that is very commonly used by the American. So okay also stands with other words like check, fabulous, and okay is also another word that goes with these common words. And the next part of the text. In this respect, it is like yeah, which seals off a sentence with further ado. Yes, sir, or yes, darling, is conceivable, but yes, sir, or yeah, darling, is unthinkable. Ya is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt, which almost snaps off any further continuation of a sentence. Yes involves time as the sibilant could not prolong. So in this respect, in this way, like this, uh, in this respect, it is like yeah. And this expression, this word is also very commonly, very frequently used by the Americans. Like okay, check, they also use this word yeah very frequently. And this expression yeah, when we say yeah, this expression which seals means which closes, seals off, it closes something of a sentence without further ado. Ado means making more complications, extending further, or making fuss of something. So so by saying the word, by expressing the expression yeah, uh, immediately the sentence stops there. So there is no scope, there is no room to add something further to the sentence after saying the word yeah. So if something is said by a person in a conversation, and the other person, the second person, just by listening to his sentences, observing his sentences, if he says just yeah, yeah, so these expressions, they seal the sentences from his side. So in this way, the expression yeah, it seals off, it closes the sentences without further taking the sentence further. And these two expressions, yes sir or yes darling, is conceivable. If we see these two expressions, one is yes sir and second one is yes darling. If we are speaking with in a polite way and we are accepting something with the person or persons, then we say yes sir, yes sir. It is, it looks rather very convincing to us. Or sometimes we say, yes, darling. Of course, we can say, yes, darling. Darling means dear to us, dear to me, dear to my heart. So there is no problem by using these two words, yes, sir, or yes, darling, is conceivable. Actually, the word conceive means making some making some effort time, so making some production. But these words are accepted. But if we think of these two words, yeah sir or yeah darling, is unthinkable. But when we use the word yeah, it closes there itself. The person, even though is an elder to us, if we say something, if we use the word yes, we can say yes sir. And if a dear person to us, if he says something to us, we can say yes darling. But if we use the word yeah in the place of yes, we cannot think. It is unthinkable that saying yeah sir or yeah darling. So in this way, the word yeah seals itself there to conclude the sentence. Actually, the word ya is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt. So ya is just pronounced when we pronounce the word ya, just it is pronounced with this word is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt. So just making our tongue grunt. Grunt is a kind of a sound, especially made by some kind of animals. So the short base of the tongue. So by using our tongue at a short base, we can produce the sound ya, which does not require any further addition and which closes seals of a sentence. So here the word ya is a very simple word, a very easy to pronounce word uh, that uh, makes a kind of sound, grunting sound, which almost snaps off. So when we say we pronounce the sound yeah, this word it snaps off. Snaps means stopping suddenly by making a brief cracking sound. So when we say yeah, yeah, immediately when we pronounce the word, immediately it stops and it does not move further and of any further continuation. So it does not take any further continuation. It stops there only of the sentence. So in that way, the sentence closes at that place. It does not require any further continuation. Yes, but the word yes involves a time where when we say yes, it takes some time, extra time. For example, if we say yes sir, yes madam, yes darling, yes. So in pronouncing the word yes, it takes some more time. But whereas the sibilant, it's a sibilant, its sibilant is yeah. Yes, sibilant. Sibilant means own brother or sister. It's called as similar. Sorry, so that is sibling. It is sibilant. Sibilant means it is very much similar to evolved origin born from the same place, same roots. So it's a siblet. yeah is a word that could not prolong. So it stops immediately to close the sentence. But whereas yes takes some more time. So since with this convenience of pronouncing yeah, Americans are more tend more to use the word yeah more rather than yes. So in this way, in this part of presentation, R.K. Narayan is presenting us certain basic keywords that are discovered, that are invented by Americans to make their language very easy to understand. So beginning with the words check, we came across some few words, few expressions that are used by the Americans. So beginning from check, we move to fabulous, and later we move to the word okay, next yeah, and next yes. So in this way, Americans have adopted that kind of English that make that suits their requirements, their needs. So this is the presentation that covers some of the text of the lesson. In the next coming presentation, we try to complete cover the remaining text of the lesson. So with this, I conclude the presentation and I thank everyone uh, who have listened to this presentation. So in the next presentation, coming presentation, we try to take the remaining text of the